Hey y'all, hey y'all. What's going on? How y'all doing? Happy Sunday. Come on in the room. Happy Sunday. Hold on, give me just a second. I'm trying to tweet. I'm gonna post this live stream on Twitter. And then we're gonna get back to the tunes. How's y'all Sunday going? Come on, Astro fam in this thing. What's happening? Hey Erica. Hey Frozen Fire. Ooh. Hey. Going down ain't nothing but thing. This loving I have for you, it'll never change. Age ain't nothing but a number. You still lounging? Hey Patricia. Sugar. You at work? Well, hopefully this will get you through. You know, put some headphones in. I am doing readings again, BJ. Email me again, because sometimes I get so much coming in. Sometimes they can kind of slip through the cracks. So shoot me another email, babe. I am currently taking readings. I'm wrapping up some of the more outstanding readings that I have. So if you are waiting for your reading, I will get to you. If I haven't gotten to you already, you will receive your reading this week. I appreciate you guys for your patience, and I am accepting new clients. So I will put my email address in the description or in the comment section. Okay. And just contact me if you need a reading. And we can go ahead and put you on the schedule. My sister's in the chat. Hi, Kiani. Sister. Yeah, Durk is a mess. Hey, Nola Queen. Hey, Southern Hood Chick. This Jupiter Pisces transit is crazy. I had a dream about my father. I woke up in tears yesterday. I had a dream about killing an intruder in my house. Wow. Yeah, this Jupiter Pisces transit is something else, y'all. It's something else. This Jupiter Pisces transit is something else. Dreams are definitely going to be a lot more vivid. I feel like I did a video I did do a video for Jupiter in Pisces, but when Jupiter is in Pisces, you can expect your dreams to be a lot more vivid. We talking like motion picture kind of vibes, you know? Motion picture kind of vibes. Cause I've been having just straight up films. Like I've been dreaming straight up films for the past maybe 4 to 5 days. I can't remember. I need to start writing my dreams down again. I used to do that. How many of you guys dream journal? Because I usually recommend that for a lot of people. Dream journaling. As soon as you wake up, before your subconscious has time to like erase everything that you dreamt about, write it down. Write it down. Chiron runs heavy through that Chicago energy. It does. And I'm so glad you said that. During my Chirac series, I went and I actually looked at the natal charts of a lot of some of the most notorious figures and the names and notable people to come out of Chicago. And a lot of them have heavy, heavy Chiron aspects. And I'm talking about like to the personal planets. And having Chiron heavily, like negatively aspected to personal planets can create it could create like lots of dysfunction. Lots of dysfunction. Like people who just don't give a fuck. A person who just don't give a fuck. You keep a dream journal log. That's good. You did a dream journal for a little while and they were free. Come on, freaky. What you got going on, Avis? Marie? And sometimes it be like that. Like, I feel like your dreams, like when you have sex in your dreams, it feels so real, y'all. Who else got some in their dreams? Okay. I done had situations where, I've dreamt myself having sex with, all kinds of people, like exes, celebrities. I remember one time, y'all, I dreamt I fucked Kanye West. Yes, Kanye. Yeezy. Why? I don't know. Because in my conscious mind, in my waking life, it's not like he's not a crush of mine. Like, I don't think Kanye is attractive. Truth be told, he looked like a little chipmunk to me. But, in my dream, I was getting it in. I was here by me like he like the way I ride it. I don't know where it came from. But I know a lot of things can be like metaphorical and symbolic. So you guys hit that thumbs up button on your way in. Let's get those likes up and then we'll start the topic of today's live, as you can see by the title. Okay. Because I've been meaning to talk about this for a while. I actually did a reading on Durk. I think it's on Patreon. So for all of my Patreon family members, you guys could kind of retroactively go back and check that out. But I've always wanted to do a reading, like a formal reading on my main channel for Durk because he has such an interesting chart. And specifically, I want to focus and hone in on this concept of him being cursed because a lot of people have been talking about the Durk curse, the Durk curse, the Durk curse, and granted, death is something that it's inevitable in life. It's a part of life. It's something that, especially coming up from an environment like Chicago, right? Unfortunately, where you have some of the most disproportionate like murder rates in the country in terms of like Black people being killed and innocent men, women, and children dying, teenagers. A lot of these people are kids killing, like, it's sad. And so given that he comes from that environment, okay, and I actually have family in Chicago. A lot of my family is also located in St. Louis, East St. Louis, which is, very close to Chicago. I understand the culture. I understand it. And I understand that, once again, death, unfortunately for a lot of these people, is a reoccurring, very normative thing. And then when you add into the mix that he is a drill rapper, you know what I'm saying? The majority of his content is talking about his life, talking about death, talking about killing people, talking about, it's just to be expected. And not to sound insensitive, but when a lot of rappers and people like particularly street rappers, right? When you build your brand and you come from a lifestyle that's depicted as such, and a death happens or something crazy happens, even sometimes if something happens to the rapper themselves, people act all shocked and like, oh my God, like what happened? Oh my God, like, oh, prayers up. And it's not to say that it's, I don't wish that on a soul, but I just be like, why are people so surprised? Because what the fuck did you think? However, with Durk, it's a little different. Okay. Durk, and I've been following, the Chirac Chronicles since back in the day. Because Durk, this is my generation. This is my era. Okay. That 2012 Chief Keef, my era. So I've been following him for a minute. And between, his kind of introduction to the scene, up until now, he's evolved a lot. His career is just now hitting its pinnacle, but he's lost a lot of people along the way. And when I say a lot of people, like I said, to a certain degree, it is to be expected. I remember Swervo had posted, like, didn't he do like an album cover with all his dead homies on there? And it's just so many. So I get it. But with Durk, it almost kind of appears to be like every single person who's around him, and it happens like back to 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 back. Every single person around him drops like a fly. And it's really crazy because recently today, everybody found out that his brother was gunned down outside of a nightclub, which is very unfortunate. My thoughts and, well wishes to everybody who was impacted by that. But right before that, his producer died. Okay. Then right before that, or maybe, back in November, Vaughn died, which was his, lifelong friend. They called each other twin, and then before that, his manager died. And then before that, it was like about 50 other niggas that died. It's hard to keep up. It's hard to keep up, but I can't help but shake the feeling that there's something to this. And sure enough, when I looked at his chart, you guys, it confirmed it. I personally think he's cursed. I think he is cursed, and I'm gonna explain to you exactly why. And this is not my personal opinion. And for people watching this on the playback, I know I will get a lot of hip hop fans, a lot of Durk fans, a lot of people who say, well, that's just goofy and this, that, and the third. And why people always trying to make something that is not. I want people to understand that even though death is a part of life, to have almost everybody who enters your presence die, that's not normal. It's not normal. I mean, and if you want to connect it to its fullest conclusion, drill rap, that whole lifestyle, I get it, isn't normal either. But it's like, if you remove your bias and the fact that you really like him and be a fan, because I'm not saying that you can't be. I like Durk, but you gotta remove the stand cap sometimes and look at things from an objective lens, or at least try to. And so that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna take y'all on a little walk. Let's take a long walk across the charts. Hold on, I'm about to pull it up right now. I'm actually going to share my screen. Y'all know it's real when I share my screen. Okay, because I feel like it's necessary. So let me go ahead and check these likes, and we will hop right on in. Yeah, I only got 17 likes, and it's like damn near 50 of y'all in the chat. So what's up? Like, what are we doing right now? Like, I'm gonna need y'all to hit that like button for me. Once the likes match the views, then I'll proceed. On my astrocartography map, I got Venus line in Chicago. Interesting. But Chicago, the area where all of this is happening at, is very small. And that's what actually makes it so bad, because you'll go to Chicago, in various areas of Chicago, And I mean, it's a lot of people in Chicago. Chicago is actually a very reputable, notable, uh, uh, high, like tourist heavy attraction. You know what I mean? It's just that all of this shit is taking place in certain parts, on the on in certain pockets, poverty pockets of the city. So you have all of these people killing each other in one concentrated area, sitting directly on top of each other. Not sex with women, Patricia. What's going on? Robina did a reading on the Cecil Hotel on her Patreon. That place is very demonic. Oh, wow. I dreamt about walking around kissing my man before we started dating. Wow. Everybody energy gonna be different, right? For example, King Von is a Leo, Chief Keith is a Leo, my cousin is a Leo. Well, yeah, everybody is gonna be different based on other placements that are going on within the chart. So my cousin being an Aries moon, full of Leo energy, he'll kill out of a different cause related to the heart. I mean, with him being a Aries, deals with weaponry. A lot of Aries moon individuals, especially if you're playing in that type of environment, I'm pretty sure he'll kill out of for a lot of different for a lot of different reasons. But I will say when it comes to Leo though, Leo sun men or men with very prominent Leo energy, they do tend to have a lot of heart. It's because they're very prideful. But that could be dangerous, especially in King Von's case, because his Leo son, was swearing his Scorpio North Node. So his pride was ultimately what led to his death, right? What did they say? Pride comes before the fall. So you got to be careful with that. Hmm. I watched a video of some fan took a pic with him and died shortly after. Jesus. Durk's chart is devastation. Hey, Metaphysics King, I'm well. How are you? Okay, let's see. It's only 28 likes, y'all, and it's literally 56 people in the chat. So I'm trying to figure out what the disconnect is. So I'm gonna just go back to playing tunes until we run the likes up. Do I just like the video? Yeah. All it takes is a click of a button. Click of a button. Just use those little thumb muscles you got that God gave you. Do I break my readings into parts? Yes. If I'm doing full interpretations, like if I'm doing a comprehensive reading of your entire chart, yes, because that's a lot. I break that up into parts. But like my 30-minute, like the standard, the general readings, I tend to do that in one take. Yeah, that would be interesting to see what the astrocartography um, of the situation looks like. I might do Durk's astrocartography chart. I'll do that on Patreon. That's Patreon activity. I love watching true crime documentaries. Netflix has a good documentary on Ted Bundy. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, that documentary was very interesting. I feel that Gen Z up too fast because of the internet. Yeah, Gen Z definitely has access to a lot of things that many of us didn't. And in certain ways, obviously I can see how it works to their benefit, but it actually hurts them in a lot of ways too. Okay. It's something about his eyes. Are you talking about Durk's eyes? How he got them big old perk 30 eyes, like big googly. And you know what? And I'm gonna go ahead and get into it. So let's see what the likes are looking like. Okay. I'm gonna get to 50 likes and then I'll start. 50 likes and then I'll start the reading. Because there's a reason why he looked like that though. Did you see the video about how preteens are no longer a thing? I did, and I was just talking to my sister about this, as told by Venus. How, because I did see, I think it was a TikTok or something like that, where they were talking about how like Limited Too and those tweeny bopper stores basically are going out of business because as soon as bitches turn 13, they shopping at Fashion Nova. You go from 12 to 13, because there's usually a buffer phase, or even when you're 11 in the 12s, right? Like the middle schoolers, right? You go from playing on the playground, round and round and rosy, pocket full of posies. You go from that to Fashion Nova, what's good? Lace fronts. You know what I'm saying? What's the nails, the pointy nails, the coffin tip nails? You know what I'm saying? And it's too much. It's too much, and a lot of that is because of the influence of the internet and social media, and that's why I say I'm so glad I came from that. And we're talking about the Pluto Scorpio generation, like the latter Scorpio Pluto generation, like the 90s, like if you were born in 90, 91, 92, 93, I'll cut it off at 93, maybe 94, but like 93, right? Where we were the last generation to really live in a world where we understood what things were like before social media really took over, but we were still able to, like, it's almost like we understand, both perspectives, right? Because on one hand, we did have computers. We had, the big computers that you needed dial up, right? There was one computer in the whole house, and if you tried to talk on the phone while somebody was on the internet, it would give you that right? We used to play video games or computer games, and then you had, what was it? Y'all remember? I don't know who, and I might be telling my age. What was it called? Was it called Tango? I think it was called Tango. Then you had MySpace. You know what I mean? Like, we had little things like that, but it wasn't as sophisticated as like today's social media, right? All that really consisted of like the earlier social media that we had in school and coming up, and while we were, preteens and things like that. First of all, everybody didn't use it. Everybody didn't have it. Everybody didn't have a computer. But if you did, right, number one, you had to actually go home and get on the computer. There was no such thing as accessing it from your phones, right? Or how teens and preteens got access. You got literally at your fingertips, you could scroll the entire internet from top to bottom and then some. We didn't have that. You had to go home at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Put your little friends in your top 8. What's your MySpace? Put me on your top 8. What's your MySpace? Put me on your. You see what I'm saying? And we were just in it because you get to change and customize your layout and, post pictures of you. It wasn't necessarily like an influencer friendly lifestyle back then. So people weren't really gauging and using social media as a lens to market and promote and sell lifestyles. And, it wasn't none of that. So we didn't have those pressures. And respectfully, we all looked a hot fucking mess. Okay. We looked a hot fucking mess. But the Black Planet, right? But with Pluto and Sagittarius, that Pluto Sag generation, right? Gen Z, you guys, I really feel for it. And I know a lot of my viewership is Pluto Sag. I feel for y'all because, you know, when Pluto entered Sagittarius, there came, you know, the boom of the internet. You got to think about Sagittarius deals with globalization, right? Where once again, all of these things, anything that you want to have, anything like it's at your fingertips. You know, with the Pluto Sag era came the whole, you know, the crash of the music sale industry when they started hijacking music and Napster and all those other and LimeWire, where people really started to get sophisticated in terms of the expansion and the use of the internet, right? When 9/11 happened and people started, you know, really diving into conspiracy theories, you know, that's very Pluto and Sagittarius, right? Where you can literally use the internet to support whatever the fuck it is you want to do. With Sagittarius dealing with you know, college and things like that, like literally like college students were able to access the internet and use more of the internet for their studies and things of that sort. So, you know, growing up and being born in that era naturally puts you at an advantage in a way to where you your whole life, everything that you know of the world and the way that it works incorporates social media. It incorporates, you know, and that's cool. It has its advantages, right? I'm not one of those people who feel like you got to shit on the younger generations. They have their own advantages, but the drawback is that it makes you severely disconnected from reality and the world around you, and bringing it back around to the whole dissolution of preteens and even like early teens, right? Tweens and whatnot. You know, it creates a culture where, you know, children are very impressionable. So it creates a culture where it's just easy to get on the internet and see how these grown ass women are living, these influencers, these people that a lot of people look up to, that children look up to, and naturally you want to emulate yourself after these people. And we had celebrities, you know, back when I was in middle school and, you know, coming up in early high school, but they weren't as accessible, you know, that influencer lifestyle. There wasn't that, if that wasn't a thing, it wasn't a pressure to be a certain way and look a certain way, and that just wasn't there. You know, even in terms of the entertainment industry back then was kind of different, even in terms of like the beauty standards, because the whole the little waist fat ass, that beauty standard, that actually didn't take off until post Nicki Minaj era, because I remember. And actually, and I can admit it, I can go ahead and admit it, and that's why I think it's so funny too, because Pluto and Sagittarius rules the ass. So, you know, a lot of people from that generation, you know, are infatuated with the ass and having the ass shots and all this other stuff. I just thought it was so interesting. I just thought it was so interesting that, you know, the standard of beauty, and really, can we just give the queen her credit, because she really brought back fat asses. In the black community, it's kind of always been popular to have a big butt, but like when Nikki came on the scene, you know, her surgically enhanced booty, right? There was a lot of speculation about it, and all the girls wanted pink wig, big ass, giving whiplash. I think big ass, bigger than ass. Now look at what you just saw. This is what you live for. Like all the girls wanted big booties. That was just it. All the girls wanted little petite waist, big booties. And then when social media really started, Twitter and Instagram really started taking off, you had women who would get these enhancements, your K Michelle's of the world. And like I said, I'm gonna be honest, I even contemplated getting ass shots, because that was back when I was in college. That's when it first started popping, you know. Um, and now here we are. Now you got this. Every girl, every child wants to be that. Everybody wants to be that, and it's just sad. It's sad. It's really, really sad, and it actually even makes me sad because I have a daughter, and you know, I don't want that to be her experience. I don't want that to be her experience. But I feel sorry for, you know, these kids, because that shit is not right. I feel really bad for the children. We don't all or we all don't exist in the same realms as some of these people, correct? When I was a teenager, I watched the Bad Girls Club as a visual learning tool of how not to behave as a woman. Well, you know, me and my friends used to reenact Bad Girls Club. Even to this day, I'm grown as hell. Me and my friends will get drunk and play like we on the Bad Girls Club. Yeah, it's trippy going back and forth seeing old music videos and seeing the natural bodies. Yeah, the standard of beauty was different. The standard of beauty was so different until fairly recently. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna be honest because I've always been a girl who's been bottom heavy. You know what I'm saying? I've always been a girl who's had butt. Although I was kind of stupid because I wanted to get butt shots, not because I did not have a butt, because I wanted to change the shape of my butt. I wanted my butt, but once again, it's unrealistic. I wanted my butt to sit high and have this super gargantuan kind of round shape. And I'm glad I didn't do it because I would have looked like one of those freak shows, okay, that you see now on Botched or some weird shit. Like I would be going out the K Michelle way, and I don't have K Michelle money. And y'all see that bitch damn near died. She didn't have to go through hell and high water to get that shit taken out her ass. Cardi B too. Cardi B my age. She had like all the girls. When you look back at the girls, like the popping girls, the video girls, the strippers, the dancers, the entertainers that are like I said, around that Pluto Scorpio generation, like my era, a lot of us got butt shots. A lot of people got butt shots to be a certain way. But before it was in to have to be bottom heavy, because I've always been rather smaller, like in my midsection and bigger at the bottom. I've always had big thighs, always had big hips, I've always had a big butt. That shit was not cool. I used to get made fun of. I dad used to get made fun of. I dad used to get. I remember I was at camp one year and I put on some shorts, and this boy was like, "Oh, look at she trolloping, kind of like making like a play off of me being a horse, you know, on some stallion shit. Like, oh, this bitch over here trolloping through the camp, looking like she part of the Clydesdale, like you know, one of like the little horses that trollop through the streets." And everybody started laughing, and I was like, damn, bitch, what the like you fucking mush mouth ass bitch? Like, what the fuck that's supposed to mean? But you know, fast forward when the normative changed, like, oh, big booties is in. Like, it's crazy. I'm interested to see what the new standard is gonna be years from now, 10 years from now. I was already in my mid to late 20s when Bad Girls Club came out. I thought it was dumb. It really was dumb. Uh, but you know, I'm trying to see what I don't know what year they first came out. Maybe it was at 2007. I know I was in high school. I was in high school. I might have been 16, 15 or 16. But I mean, even looking back, it actually, and I had this conversation with a former friend of mine. It is really kind of sad when you think about the whole premises of the Bad Girls Club, like and how exploitive it was. First of all, they do not pay them bitches. Reality television does not pay like that unless you are, you know, coming to the table with an already established career. That's number one. So they're paying these bitches pennies to sit in the house, get them drunk. They will feed these hoes alcohol. And you know, you would have the bad girls who like to fight, but then you had the bad girls who was just in there because they was alcoholics, like period. They were out of control, substance abuse kind of eyes, right? Train wrecks. And they would feed these, they would shove liquor down these bitches' throats, make them interact with each other, and just watch what happened. Like, why? And these hoes will argue over the dumbest shit. It'd be like, you looked at me today, Patricia. You looked at me today, and you said good morning. And the way you said good morning, when you said good morning, you look to the left and then to the right first. You normally don't do that. And I normally don't let nobody look to the left and look to the right before they talk to me. This is a motherfucking Bad Girls Club, Patricia. What makes you think you can look to the left and look? No. Okay, so and what? And what? And what? You gonna look to the left and to the right? Do it again. Look to the left and to the right again, Patricia. And then next thing you know, bitches is fighting. And I'm like, what? What the fuck is going on? She ate my hot pocket. She ate my hot pocket. I just be perplexed. Like, it's funny, like I said, for shits and giggles, but like when you really like with a critical eye, just with a human brain, like just go back and just listen and watch that shit. You be like, what the fuck is going on here? I will never forget Tanisha. They were scared of her. They weren't. I ain't getting no sleep because of y'all. Was it her? Y'all never get no sleep because of me. I never liked the Bad Girls Club. It was so low vibrational and stupid. Like, why are these grown women fighting so much? Child. Okay, so let me see. We got. Okay, fine. We're just gonna go ahead and start the reading. Okay, we're gonna start with Durk. So let me go ahead and pull up his chart again. Okay, so Durk was born October 19, 1992 in Chicago, Illinois. We don't know his time of birth, so I used the 12 p.m. placeholder so you could take the house placements with a grain of salt. That's not what we're here to talk about. So the reason why, right, from an astrological perspective, Durk is cursed, and I truly believe he is cursed. Take a look at his Venus, okay? He has his Venus at the 29th degree of Scorpio. Let me tell y'all something, okay? And at first, I didn't really want to. I was kind of nervous about it because I have 29th degree Scorpio placements my damn self. Okay. But in his case, having your Venus at the 29th degree of Scorpio can produce situations where you're naturally going to experience lots of trials, lots of, because Scorpio is already the sign of crises, right? So it kind of cranks it up like 50,000 notches where you can experience lots of traumatic circumstances, high pressure circumstances surrounding friends, right? Death of friends, the death of loved ones, unexpected death. And I think it's actually exacerbated in his case because his Venus is conjoined to Pluto. So you can look at this as him being involved in criminal activity. Check. We already know that, right? Him having friends who are involved in criminal activity. That 29th degree could also even deal with gang related activity, especially with that 2 influence, where there could be a lot of violence. We know that. And where as a result, like it can literally create a curse. Scorpio at the 29th degree, depending on what's going on with it, can create a curse. It can create almost even a generational kind of curse. So you can look at his Venus at the 29th degree of Scorpio conjoined to Pluto as him being cursed in terms of his friendships, maybe even his relationships, truth be told, where, every time you look up, there's the death of a loved one. Every time you look up, there's the death of a loved one. And his Mercury is at the 17th degree of Scorpio as well. And with him being a Gemini South Node, he's going to be a person where he has a lot of karma tied to his peers. There's like a very karmic relationship that these people have tied to their siblings, their relatives, their peers, their neighborhoods. So with his Mercury and Scorpio, you can look at that as being involved or coming from a neighborhood where there is a lot of death. So you see how that works? I do believe he's cursed from an astrological standpoint. It was the 29th degree for me, conjoined to Pluto. It was Venus at the 29th degree, conjoined to Pluto for me. So he is going to be someone where he could very much lose a lot of the people around him. And in terms of the grand scheme of things, as a Sagittarius North Node, he's supposed to be a person who has to walk alone anyway. Because that's another thing. A lot of Gemini South Nodes can surround themselves with negative or just, other people and their influences. But with his Mercury, once again, at that 17th degree of Scorpio, these can be really bad influences. And so you can look at his Scorpio North Node. And I think a lot of this also has to do with the fact that he's experiencing his lunar nodal return. Okay. Now, I would actually have to, let me take a look and see exactly what degree or where the transiting nodes are exactly at the moment. Give me a second. I'm trying to see exactly where the transiting nodes are at the moment. Because that just, I didn't even think about that till just this moment. He could be experiencing his nodal return. Not quite, but he's coming up on it. Because the transiting nodes are currently transiting south node. So it's actually his inverse nodal return. Transiting Sagittarius south node is at the 10th degree. And then that Gemini north node is at the 10th degree as well. So you can look at this as like him approaching, because I think when you're about 27 years old, that's around the age you experience your inverse nodal return. It's like 27, 28, something to that effect. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, yeah, because he'll be 30 next year. He'll be 30 next year. So yeah, it's about that time. Point is, it's going to exacerbate and accelerate a lot of the themes associated with his lunar nodal placements. So it's going to create situations where if transiting Gemini North node, when it finally conjoins and passes over his South node, where, there are going to be a lot more things that take place in terms of his friends and the people around him. The pressure for him to, kind of rise above and separate himself is going to be even more dire. But he can also achieve a lot of mainstream success, though, too. But it's going to come with a price. And I'm not insinuating, because I do see some people saying like, well, he's sacrificing people and this, that, and the third. I'm not trying to get too conspiratorial, so I'm not necessarily going to say that. But the man, it's something there. I'm not saying that he has anything to do with it, but from an astrological standpoint, he is cursed in terms of the people around him and his friends. Now that Venus, the condition of his Venus, especially with its conjunction to Pluto, could also have a lot to do with his relationships with women, which is another reason too. That's another reason I wanted to talk about him, because the more press and traction that he's getting for his relationship with that India Royale girl, I'm raising my eyebrow. Because this is indicative of a man who has a really difficult time being faithful. Which, I mean, it's not really news, because there's a lot of rappers who can't be faithful. It's a lot of niggas from down the street who can't be faithful. But, this could deal with where, there could, because the 29th degree can produce, love triangles, third party interferences. Venus and Scorpio in and of itself has a difficult time being monogamous. I would be surprised if Durk had an STD, or he's brought a woman back an STD before. Like, these are men who when they can lay it low and spread it the fuck wide. So when she's parading and talking about how she, I'm the sixth baby mama, but I got the deeds and I got the this and that. Now, I mean, on that token, Venus conjoined to Pluto and Scorpio can deal with the man who like has to pay a lot of child support, or where she could very well be immersed in terms of their joint finances. But there's a catch with that, especially with his Venus at the 29th degree. It's a catch with that. So if I were her, I wouldn't get too comfortable. Don't you ever get too comfortable. Then on top of that, when I looked at his asteroids, he has Bacchus, okay, conjoined to his Jupiter. And Bacchus could be an asteroid that deals with excessiveness, where it can point towards addiction. It can point towards where you have a problem, but you may not want to admit you got a problem. With it being conjoined to his Jupiter at that first degree of Libra, that could deal with where he is low-key addicted to relationships. And on top of that, him being a Libra sun. These are niggas who, they're very relationship oriented. So don't let their like hopeless romantic, like, oh, I love India, I love him. He might do. I'm not saying he don't. But I just tweeted this on my Twitter account. for a lot of Libra placements, especially the men, they fall into this habit of feeling like the grass is greener on the other side. So these are men who can find themselves in limbo between different relationships, or where shit can kind of get messy, or where they're still keeping ties and tabs on the ex. You know what I'm saying? And then he's a Cancer Mars at that. Cancer Mars can men can be womanizers. Libra men can be womanizers, and then with that Jupiter in Libra, especially considering that it's conjoined to Bacchus, it could deal with him being the type of dude to go through a hella women. These are men who can get married multiple times, or people who can get engaged multiple times. But the thing is, they feel like they need a partner to help them accomplish things. They want somebody by their side when they're achieving things and accomplishing things. So when you tie that into him being a Sagittarius North Node, a lot of his relationships are going to feel and just be very karmic for that reason. Because as he ascends, as he elevates, as he becomes more, more of a mainstream success, and he wants to have a partner by his side that's going to kind of help him through all of that, but it's just, listen. Listen. And I don't know if because he could either be a later degree Virgo moon or early degree Leo moon. Based off of this chart, he would be an earlier degree Leo moon. And if his moon is in fact forming that opposition to his Saturn in Aquarius, there could also be something that could deal with him, having just really shitty luck when it comes to matters of the heart, where like romantically, first of all, Leo moon men can be players, but that opposition to Saturn could deal with where he hops in a relationship, but he can't, like, they can't keep long-term commitments like that, not like that. And I don't know if y'all know this, but this nigga got hella kids and like hella relationships. You could even look at his Jupiter at that first degree as him having a lot of kids, because that number one deals with children. It deals with children. And like I said, with Bacchus conjoined to his Jupiter, that's like where a nigga, like, you got a problem. Like, you are a fucking serial reproducer. Then he has his sun sextiling his Sagittarius North Node. The sun deals with children as well. So, and Sagittarius can expand things. They take things and they make them larger. So that could be somebody with hella children. And technically, it's a part of he's, technically from an astrological standpoint within his rights. He also has Neptune forming an opposition to his Mars, that Cancer Mars. That could also reinforce him having relationships with women where, even though he might be with India, there could be secret. He could be having, this is the type of nigga to have a whole nother family somewhere else or some shit like that. Or like, still be keeping ties, but be sneaky with that shit to like another woman. Like, come on now. Then his Mars is opposing Uranus. And I wouldn't even be surprised if behind closed doors, he was not that much like of a lover. Like, honestly, he gives me abusive vibes. So y'all heard it first, allegedly. Y'all heard it first. The nigga really be giving me abusive vibes if you just want to keep it a beam. Even with that Venus at the 29th degree of Scorpio, that could be a man who has a difficult time controlling his anger, his emotions with women, where it can be really toxic. He could be his relationships can be extremely toxic. Cancer Mars men are notorious for being abusive towards women. I don't know. And then it's opposing his Uranus, so like he's a wild card, like, or where he can objectify women in some way. I don't like it. That's just me. I don't like it. So I said all that to say, because once again, we live in a social media area. I said area, area too. Things are not as they appear to be. These are like, don't let none of that shit fool you. Don't let none of that shit fool you. And yes, that's right, Divinity Child. Scorpios can have very transactional relationships too. Absolutely. So you could look at that also as where he tends to attract women who want to leech on to him for his money. Oh, I also meant to mention too, the reason I'm gonna pull up a picture. Durk's eyes be big as hell, and there are a couple of reasons for that. One of those being, one of the main being him being a Gemini South Node. A lot of Gemini placements have really big googly ass eyes. He looks like a Gemini. He looks like a Gemini. He definitely looks like a Gemini. Let me see. Durk Vaughn. Vaughn. Let's see. Durk big eyes. Let me show you. So I just thought that was very interesting. Uh-oh. Let me share. That's not what I meant to share. Okay, here we go. Y'all see this? He looks like a wait, I know that this is what you call it. I know that they put some like they edited this picture. They photoshopped this shit. But it's still funny. I'm trying to find that one picture of him where everybody was like, what the fuck is his problem? Like, he be perked out. He looked so much better to me when he was younger, when he had like that cleaner look. Let me type in his baby mamas. Durk baby mamas. This man got a lot of kids, y'all. And he got a white baby mama. And you know how like that stereotype that when black men date white women, they be like the most ugliest, craziest looking white bitches ever. Look at this. Look. Like, what the fuck is going on? The picture with him, little baby in the car. He probably is paranoid. You know, that Gemini South Node can give you lots of anxiety as well. Let me see. Go figure. Children don't experiment with drugs. Facts. She's not ugly. Okay. She looks like what's his name? She looked like Wreckham Ralph to me. She looked like Wreckham Ralph. She looked like a white. The picture of his child's mother is not flattering. I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt. Well, you listen. Here's another one. She looks like Rackham Ralph. This is another one of her. This is the same girl. So, Princess Fiona from Shrek. Yeah, yeah, she does. Yeah, she looked like a combination of Princess Fiona and Wreck-'em Ralph. I still say Wreck-'em Ralph. So, it just is what it is. And I said that to say it's interesting. It's interesting. It's always pretty interesting. But the nigga got about 50,000 children now. And I just find that really funny. And don't get me started on my tangent because it be the double standards for me. Niggas can have reproduced children left and right by all different women, and it's perfectly fine. That's weird to me. I do be feeling like he has heavy ass energy. Yeah. Some of you guys are very mean. Well, mean or honest? Yes, he's depicted as burdened. Scorpios are really. Uh oh, hold on. Let me charge my computer real quick, but my shit die. Ooh, ooh, if I could, I give you a world. Wrap it all around you. Won't be satisfied with just a piece of his heart. Okay, I'm back. So yeah, I didn't want to be on here too long. Some men are babied and coddled by their mothers too much. This is why they lack accountability. Agreed. Oh, where were you when R&B was in need? I'm right here, and I got some tricks up my sleeve. But I'm right here, and R&B still is very much in need. And you know what? I feel like when people say things like R&B is dead and stuff like that, I tend to not agree. Even when because people say hip hop is dead or rap music is dead, I think it's a matter if we're talking about mainstream, that's fine. But like, and maybe this is just me because I listen to so many different people. Like, if you really want to go find some really good music, there are plenty of bomb ass R&B artists. I also think that we have this like the image of like R&B in terms of like the golden age, the golden era of R&B, in my opinion, was like that 90s, like maybe even like late 80s, 90s kind of era, and that's cool. But like all things evolve with time. Music evolves, sounds evolve, and so there is lots of R&B music. It's just, now we're talking about the scissors and the what's the name, Kalani's, and the K Michelle still making music too. If you don't like the whisper singing girls, if you don't like the girls who sing like this, then go find you somebody else. Like, it's a lot of girls who are going to give you vocals and ballads too. You know what I'm saying? So it's a matter of you having to find the music. Same thing with rap music. Like, people like seeing rap is dead, and don't nobody rap like that no more. But it just lets me know you don't listen to or you only listen to like what's on the radio, I guess. I've never really been a fan of Kalani's work either. I mean, I don't really have nothing against her. She's just not nobody where I be in the car like, ooh, pass me the aux cord, girl. We finna listen to Kalani. Like, I can't even, the only Kalani song that I know is, are you down to be a distraction, baby? Whatever, however it goes. Whatever that is, okay? Do you want to be that? And outside of that, I don't, I don't, what does she sing? like Sierra. They don't really feel like singers, and I get it. I get it. Like the whisper sing girls, but there are some girls who are really like giving us what we need. Now, even though Summer Walker going through some shit right now, and as a person, I abhor Summer Walker, but musically, I can't hate. Like that's my girl. Like musically, if she were to just get her personal life in order and just get a PR team and hop her ass off of social media, she can really like change some shit, like really shift some shit around. If she stopped feeding her baby kelp shakes and stayed away from social media and just boom, boom, hit the pavement. You know what I'm saying? Say fuck, what's his name? London on the track. Go get you some other producers and really pound the pavement. My girl could really she could single-handedly start really making big waves and moving shit around because her music is and her voice is impeccable. It made me look bad. It's not funny, but you know, it just listen like it is what it is. That's why I didn't even bother doing a reading on it. But and truth be told too, Summer Walker, that her very first album, I think what's it called, The Last Days of Summer or something like that. The Last Days of Fall, last day, it was some season. The Last Days of Summer, Autumn, Fall. Point is, that album, in my opinion, was better than the most recent project that she put out where her shit was produced by London on a track. So that's why it was the irony that it's all just like, oh my goodness, what she's gonna do. They're broken up. First of all, they'll probably get back. They probably already back together, but if assuming they don't get right back together, London, he's a good producer, but I feel like his sound doesn't go with everything. Like when you listen to her very first album, she had this it was almost it was more so in alignment with this persona or with how she kind of tries to portray herself in terms of this mother of the earth. I feed my baby kelp shakes and smoothies, and I'm just this naturalista. I'm just this naturalista, like, this movement. Her sound kind of more so aligned with that because she had this really great indie sound. Like, I really enjoyed her first album. Like, there are no skips. And that is so rare, especially for me. Like, I could listen to that first album from beginning to end. That's the one with Girls Need Love. I need some love. Hey, I need some love. And no, you can't judge. Girls need love too. Girls need love too. Girls need love too. It was the shit. That whole album was the shit. But the one with that she made with London on the track, maybe it was like 3 or 4 songs. Let's say 4 to be generous. 4 songs off of that whole album that I was like, oh my God. I just think because of the fact that he does really well with like rap music, he produces a lot of rap and a lot of like the more contemporary sounded tracks. And, it kind of gives it that flavor, that radio flavor that she was trying to go for. Cause she's trying to elevate her career. So I guess it served its purpose, but it wasn't as good as her first album. So I'm like, he's not a bad producer, but bitch, just because you fucking with him don't mean he need to produce your album from beginning to end. And anytime you mix business with pleasure, that shit goes straight to hell anyway. Like fucking your producer girl, and he responsible for all your shit. Like how did you not know that was like not gonna turn out right? But she hard headed though. She's a air. She got her Aries sun conjoined to her South Node. I think she's a part of that Saturn Aries generation. You can't tell her nothing. London bisexual. I believe it. I believe it. I actually looked at his chart a while back and I could definitely see it. I think he likes trans women. And that was another reason when I did my little first reading on Summer Walker, where I theorized that she was trans. Now I get it, she had a baby, but also, but here's look, and this is just my conspiratorial hat, y'all. This is, I could be wrong. This is my conspiracy hat. Conspiracy, 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 conspiracy. It's a conspiracy. So I will disclaim that. But when everybody's like, why can't she feed her baby breast milk? Well, she got implants, but you can still feed your baby. Why you can't feed the baby breast milk? Or like she would do stuff like not post her belly button when she would show her pregnant stomach. Mm. Like I said, whatever. I just at best, I feel like this is her first reincarnation as a woman. Put it like that. This is her first reincarnation as a woman. That's another reason why the maternal instincts, she don't got them. I'm not saying she's a bad mom, and she could definitely grow into it. You know what I'm saying? But I'm talking about naturally, like innately. Some women innately, like, oh, I know what to do. Oh, I'm a watch me blossom, and oh, like, not everybody's like that. I'm taking it too far. Well, I'm just saying, you could take it, you can leave it. So like I said, it's a very clear conspiracy on my part. But these are just the things that kind of go through my brain sometimes when I'm thinking with my conspiratorial hat. That's all. I believe the conspiracy of summer. Hollywood is full of these Baphomet transformer figures. It's a lot more trans people in the spotlight than you probably would think. And I think it's because a lot of people feel like a lot of people look at trans, especially women, as men in a dress. Where it's like, oh, I can see this. But it's not always like you think it is. Like I said, it may not necessarily apply to summer, but just in general, it's a lot more trans individuals than you would think. It's a lot more trans individuals in the entertainment industry that are closeted, a lot more than you would probably think. I believe it. Now, Sierra is a different story. I think Sierra was born intersex. I had to update my language because, all the girls was angry. The girls was angry because I called her hermaphrodite. Tomato, tomato. This is the Neptune Pisces, Jupiter Pisces generation. They get bent out of shape. And they was, how could you say that about a black woman? Why would you call a black woman a man, bitch? Did I say she was a man? That's not what I said. I said from a technical standpoint, I feel like, especially based on her charts, okay, because Sierra, she has like this heavy ass Scorpio South Node stellium, y'all. And Scorpio is this one of the signs of trans. It deals with it can almost kind of like not even just trans, but it can deal with where there could be irregularities to the genitals, or where some people can be born with both. Because I think her Mars was like either near her south node or something like that, and that could deal with your manhood, right? Like penis. I feel like she could have had both. I think she was born with both. Is my point. I think she was born with because if you do the research, there are people who have like a full set of ovaries. They have a womb, and that explains her even going on to have children, but also has certain body parts of the other sex where it's like, okay, you have a penis as well. Maybe she has a certain level of testosterone, like, because she, even when it comes to her build and things like that. And so it's like, okay, sometimes the parents pick what gender they want the kid to be, or sometimes the kid themselves be like, you know what, I feel like I'm a wooty wooty woo. I want to, I want to express myself as a wooty wooty woo. So I'm a wooty woo. And that's what I think happened with Sierra. Honestly, truly. So not, oh, you calling a black woman a man, that's not what the fuck I said. Clearly I'm aware of the correlation between the masculinization of black women. That's not trying to masculinizing a black woman is seeing a full-blown woman, right? Or looking at a woman who I know and who we all know to be a biological woman and being like, well, like what they did to Serena Williams. Like, oh well, Serena Williams looks like, oh, she, she's a man, y'all. She look like a man. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm not even finna go back into that. I'm not even finna go back into that. Point is, it's a lot of people who fit in between that, like, non-binary, or like whether it be trans or like that other category in the entertainment industry. It's a reason why Leo governs the entertainment industry and its opposite polarity is Aquarius, which also deals with LGBTQ. It's a reason for that. It's a reason for that. That ain't for no reason. So, think everybody lying or hating if you want to. Stop it, Meg. You just jealous of Sierra. Southern Hood chick goes straight to hell. Like first class. Actually, you can fly coach. Why the fuck would I be jealous of Sierra? I actually like her music. Like her old music. I don't like that pop shit. I like my body is your party, baby. Hey, nobody's invited but you, baby. No, my favorite is I don't need me a basketball player. All I need is somebody that's down for me. And he don't have to have money. His love is just like honey. It's so sweet to me. Hey, that was that shit. Like, that's how, look, that was the middle school days, okay? Makes you feel like you had a whole nigga and ain't experienced love in your life. Talk about something. Right. Nah, ain't nobody jealous of Sierra. People been saying that about her for a year. Right. Like, I just made this shit up. Not a black woman are masculine, huh? Some are more than what? My mom was born with more masculine elements than feminine. Look, we can't be getting lost in the form because we come as both, and that is true. Obviously, you know, all what do they say when we talk about the XY chromosomes? Everybody start off as female, so everybody has testosterone, certain levels of testosterone, certain elements of estrogen. Even spiritually, we all have, feminine, the divine feminine versus masculine. I get all of that. I'm talking about from a scientific standpoint. There are still people who are born other, like whether you have both or whatever the case may be. People are born one thing and then over the course of their life, they switch and they change. And it may not always have anything to do with how you look either. So that's not what I'm saying. I ain't even say, well, I ain't even gonna go there. I'm not even entirely saying that Sierra just out here is just serving you man, like who quote unquote looks like a man. I'm saying based on her charts, it aligns with a lot of the rumors people were saying. Period. Yeah, I actually am working on an Angela Stanton reading. Joan Rivers died after calling Michelle Obama. I mean, listen. Conspiracy theories. You believe the Michelle Obama conspiracy? That's Patreon conversation. People would also say the same about Michelle Obama and Serena Williams. The only problem I have with trans women is they shouldn't compete against natural born women in sports. Agreed. I hate how Summer Walker acts like she doesn't have no money to feed her child quality food, but spent thousands on stuff. I think in her mind it is quality, like feeding the baby like hemp smoothies. Like I think in her mind that is quality. Exactly, I agree, Betty. Now, exactly. Not every celebrity is demonic. No, not every celebrity is demonic. A lot are though, but not every. I need an extra day of the week, an extra hour on the clock just to show you how to. What song is that? I prefer 90s, 2007 rap, but I love me some J. Cole, Logic, and Kendrick. Same, Justin. Joey Badass. Okay, I used to have a crush on him. You like Angela Staten? I don't like her. That baby gonna be 60, not 60 pounds by 20. I under and here's the thing, because I notice a lot of people do like Angela Staten and are starting to like increasingly take to her. And here's my thing. I feel like Angela Staten does a good job of making bullshit sound good because I see through it. And she may be very well intentioned in her thought process, but she's still not doing it for me. Because here's the thing. Whenever she talks, especially let's talk about political Angela Staten, right? Because she is a person who's very vocal about her, her politics and things of that sort. Whenever she's talking about politics, the reason why she looks so like she got so much sense when she's talking about politics is because she's debating against robots. She's debating against bots and people who are, it's like they're so wrapped up in regurgitating the status quo that it's easy for you to dismantle anybody who thinks outside of the normative black status quo. It's easy to dismantle that. So like anybody who's been on my channel for a while, because y'all know, it's the Sag in me. I get real political at times, and you know, Democrats are full of shit. So when she makes these arguments, her arguments in regards to the Democratic Party are correct. They are correct when she talks about how, and I noticed that too, even with like the Candace Owens and like these new age like black Republicans, where they're like these, and I call them faux intellectuals because it's like the way that they present their arguments, especially for people who don't know much about politics and who are very unassuming. You're like, wow, that does make a lot of sense. And in many respects, they're not completely wrong. They're not 100% wrong. They're not. Because I partially agree. The Democratic Party is full of shit. All the points that they'll make about Obama, all the points that they'll make about the black community, all the points that they'll make about, well, the black community in terms of, our loyalty to Democrats and this and the third, and certain policies that have been enacted by Obama, by other standing Democratic politicians. They are right on the money. But the part where you lose me is where you say, because of this, comma, therefore, the proper solution is to become a Republican. Is that what you're saying? Really? So that lets me know you're full of shit, because if you're really about liberating people's minds, you're not trying to encapsulate them from one party to the next. You're trying to get people to understand that the bipartisan, the two-party duopoly that America is full of shit altogether. Because Republicans and Democrats essentially do the same thing. The only difference is Republicans focus more on, well, they're more so just like, go fuck yourselves, right? Go fuck yourselves. We're out and out with it. While Democrats focus more on social issues, right? Identity politics. Oh, race and this and race. And some of those things are valid because clearly this is a racist country. But they lean really heavy onto those things to make up for the fact that they don't really give a fuck about anything else. So on one hand, that's another reason why I actually respect celebrities who come out and just admit that they're Republican, because from an economic standpoint, a lot of these celebrities, their interest, when we start talking about class solidarity, people are going to side with they're going to be more loyal to their class than they are to their race. So a lot of these celebrities who people want, oh, when people come out, even during this past election, oh yeah, rah rah Biden, rah rah rah. A lot of these folks don't even believe that. They just saying that so that they don't get slandered in the public. So I appreciate the damn Kanye West and the people who could just say, these are where my values lie. Now I don't, are you still wrong? Yes, you're still wrong, but at least you're honest. At least you're honest. So yeah, that's just that on Angela Staton. She is it's giving me very half cocked. Like it's like you have the right answer, but when you do no, it's like the work is right. You're doing the right work, like in class. You're in math class, your teacher has you solve a problem, and she's showing her work, right? The work is correct. Okay, the work is correct, but then she gets the wrong answer. Bitch, if the work is correct, why the fuck is the answer wrong? That's what Angela Staton gives me. And it's very easy for her to talk circles around people who are very much still entrenched and steeped into that democratic logic. But I would like to see her debate someone from the far left. I'm not talking about liberals or Democrats. I'm talking about somebody who may be more so of a socialist, or somebody who may be even a social democrat, if we just had to do Democrats, or a person who the Green Party, or somebody who is just independent. I would like for her to talk to somebody like that who's actually educated in a lot of those ideologies and knows what the fuck they're talking about and is not in the entertainment business. Then that's when I'll actually be impressed. Fuck the Young Turks. The Young Turks is full of shit too. They pretend like they position themselves like they're, oh, we're anti two-party duopoly, but they were campaigning for Biden. Okay. They were supporting the what do they call themselves? The between what the fuck do they call themselves? The new wave of progressive quote unquote, so to speak, Democrats. Was it the fraud? Well, they call them the fraud squad now, with Ilhan Omar and AOC and that whole crowd. Basically, they had the option to withhold their vote when Nancy Pelosi was, her seat was coming up for like a re-election for or Speaker of the House. They had the option to withhold their vote so that they can press and get like a floor vote on the Medicare for all, and they didn't do that. And the Young Turks basically like backed and supported Nancy Pelosi. Like, so it gets really deep once you start getting into like the nuts and bolts of it. Because a lot of people are not who they say they are. A lot of these institutions, and even with the Young Turks, I think they're still even being funded by certain people within like their democratic circle. So like certain donors and stuff like that, which is why they have such a huge platform. The people that you really need to support in terms of independent media are people who literally have where all of their money literally comes from their online following and not secret donors behind the scenes. So we're talking like, if you really want to get into some really interesting and insightful political commentary, Jimmy motherfucking Dore is my motherfucking man. Kyle Kalinske, kinda. I used to be more so on board with secular talk. He kind of lost me over the years because I feel like he has certain conflicts of interest when it comes to the Justice Democrats. But it's better than Young Turks, and it's better than Angela Stanton, whatever the fuck her name is. Yes, Jink Uger, he's full of shit. That nigga really ain't shit for real. Black Lives Matter, yep, scam. People are just so fucking stupid and so easily goofable. Exactly. Yep, two-party systems are bullshit. We ain't got to worry about these celebs. We just need to look at their energies and elements and see ours and learn who we are by their actions and words. I like some of Angela's views, but anyone that believes in two-party systems is exactly. I'm first time voter. I didn't want to vote anymore. Just give black folks their own state of money. Facts. Yeah, that's why I don't do politics. I don't blame people for being apolitical, but sometimes it does help to know something. Because when you're presented with people like Angela Stanton, you see what I'm saying? Like it's just it's very easy for a lot of people and a lot of the black community in general. Unfortunately, we are very gullible. So it's just very easy to be like, oh well, yeah, I like what she's talking about, and yeah, well, I agree with that. I like, yeah, I'm on board. Like that makes so much sense. The two-party system is a scam, still under one dictatorship. Right. Oh, big per you talking about what's her name? Coy. Pull up in the ooh, ooh in the ass, I get that ooh. So, you know. With that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and log on out, guys. I just came on. I didn't want to be on here too long. I just came to, drop off this dirt tea. I will have an Angela Stanton reading coming up. We'll see. And this week on Thursday, okay, and I'll, put the information in the description box after I upload this live. I am having a block party, the Hood Astro or Summer Astro block party with Novi. Okay, Novi and I are hosting it. It's free, it's on Zoom, and we're actually discussing the nodes. So, a lot of you guys, I know a lot of y'all have been talking about, and I've been getting a lot of requests. This is to do the nodes and talk more about the nodes in astrology. You need to be there then. You need to be there. You need to be there. Okay, so if you are looking for the Zoom link, it will be listed in the description box after I upload this live. So I hope to see y'all there this Thursday, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And yeah, I love y'all. I'll holler at y'all later. Y'all have a great week. Bye.